Adhava was free from the influence of all material dualities. His heart was breaking, and at this time of departure, he drenched Lord Krishna's lotus feet with his tears. Greatly fearing separation from him for whom he felt such indestructible affection, Adhava was distraught, and he could not give up the Lord's company. Finally, feeling great pain, he bowed down to the Lord again and again, placed the slippers of his master upon his head, and departed. Thereupon, placing the Lord deeply within his heart, the great devotee Adhava went to Badarak ashram. By engaging there in austerities, he attained to the Lord's personal abode, which had been described to him by the only friend of the universe, Lord Krishna himself. He saw Lord Krishna there, and they happily got together. Anyone within this universe who receives this narration with great faith is assured of liberation. Lord Sri Krishna advised the Yadu dynasty heroes to abandon Dwarka and go to Prabhasa, on the bank of the Sarasvati. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
"Women, children, and older men should leave this city and go to Sankadar. Us other men shall go to Prabhasa, where the river Sarasvati flows toward the west."
Having heard these words from Lord Krishna, the elders of the Yadu dynasty gave their assent, saying, "So be it." After crossing over the ocean in boats, they proceeded on chariots to Prabhasa. At Prabhasa, the Yadu heroes became absorbed in festivity, and by the illusory power of Lord Krishna, they became intoxicated from drinking the sweet Maria beverage, which can completely intoxicate the mind. Thus, losing their intelligence, they quarreled among themselves and began killing one another using bamboo sticks, until not one man was left alive. Another lesson from this is to not drink intoxicants. Afterward, Sri Baladev went to the shore of the ocean and by the mystic strength of yoga disappeared and went to the spiritual world and amalgamating back into his original form with Lord Krishna. The original form of Lord Balaram is always in the spiritual world with Lord Krishna. That form never leaves. Only the duplicated form leaves. Seeing the disappearance of Baladev from earth, Lord Sri Krishna sat down silently upon the ground. Then a person named Jara pierced Lord Krishna's foot with an arrow. Jara immediately understood his mistake and, falling at the feet of Lord Sri Krishna, begged to be punished. In reply, Lord Krishna told him this happened according to his own desire. Lord Krishna said,
"My dear Jara, do not fear. Please get up. What has been done is actually my own desire. With my permission, go now to the abode of the pious, the spiritual world."
Remember, Jara wanted to be punished for what he did, but Lord Krishna understood Jara's heart being sincere. Since Jara was in direct contact with Lord Krishna, he became blessed to go to the spiritual world. For example, if a person grew up eating meat, not knowing that it was sinful, but now knows that it is wrong, and eats plant-based food, does good things having God in the center of his or her life, then that person can become qualified to go to the spiritual world. So don't worry. On the other hand, if a person does not do good and continues to do sinful things, then that person has to suffer. Therefore, it is important to do good things with God in the center of one's life. So, instructed by the Supreme Lord Krishna, who assumes his transcendental body by his own will, Jara circumambulated the Lord 3 times and bowed down to him. Then, Jara departed in an airplane that had appeared just to carry him to the spiritual sky. At that time, Dwarka was searching for his master, Krishna. As he neared the place where the Lord was sitting, he perceived the aroma of tulsi flowers in the breeze and went in its direction. Upon seeing Lord Krishna resting at the foot of a banyan tree, surrounded by his shining weapons, Dwarka could not control the affection he felt in his heart. His eyes filled with tears as he rushed down from the chariot and fell at the Lord's feet. Dwarka said,
"Just as on a moonless night people are merged into darkness and cannot find their way, now that I have lost sight of your lotus feet, my Lord, I have lost my vision and am wandering blindly in darkness. I cannot tell my direction, nor can I find any peace."
While the chariot driver was still speaking, before his very eyes the Lord's chariot rose up into the sky along with its horses and its flag, which was marked with the emblem of Garuda. All the divine weapons of Vishnu rose up and followed the chariot. Lord Krishna then spoke to his chariot driver, who was most astonished to see all this.
Dwarka, go to Dwarka and tell our family members how their loved ones destroyed one another. Also tell them of the disappearance of Baladev and of my present condition. You and your relatives should not remain in Dwarka, the capital of the Yadus, because once I have abandoned that city it will be inundated by the ocean. You should all take your own families, together with my parents, and under Arjuna's protection go to Indraprastha. You, Dwarka, should be firmly situated in devotion to me, remaining fixed in spiritual knowledge and unattached to material considerations. Understanding these pastimes to be a display of my illusory potency, you should remain peaceful.
Thus ordered, Dwarka circumambulated the Lord and offered obeisances to him again and again. He placed Lord Krishna's lotus feet upon his head, and then with a sad heart went back to the city. Then, Brahma arrived at Prabhasa along with Shiva and his consort, the sages, the Prajapatis, and all the demigods, headed by Indra. As they were coming, all these personalities variously chanted and glorifying Lord Krishna. Crowding the sky with their many airplanes, they showered down flowers with great devotion. Seeing before him Brahma, along with the other demigods, the Almighty Lord closed his lotus eyes, fixing his mind within himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna entered into his own abode. His original form always stays in Goloka Vrindavan planet. So his form can combine back into his original form or stay separated into many forms at the same time doing different things simultaneously. In the magnificent huge Goloka Vrindavan planet, there are many petals. Lord Krishna does various activities in his different forms as a child with his parents or with his friends. And in the central part of the lotus flower, Lord Krishna is with the gopis and Radharani. The spiritual world is way bigger than the small material world. There are innumerable other spiritual planets in Vaikuntha. Lord Krishna has many other forms in each and every planet. When a person is devoted to Lord Krishna, that person can enjoy with Lord Krishna in any of the spiritual planets. Most of the demigods and other higher beings led by Brahma could not see Lord Krishna as he was entering his own abode, since he did not reveal his movements. But some of them did catch sight of him, and they were extremely amazed. Just as ordinary men cannot ascertain the path of a lightning bolt as it leaves a cloud, the demigods could not trace out the movements of Lord Krishna as he returned to his abode. A few of the demigods, however, notably Brahma and Shiva, could ascertain how the Lord's mystic power was working, and thus they became astonished. All the demigods praised the Lord's mystic power and then returned to their own planets. Drums resounded in the heavens and flowers showered from the sky. Anyone who regularly rises early in the morning and carefully chants with devotion the glories of Lord Sri Krishna's transcendental disappearance and his return to his own abode will certainly achieve that same supreme destination. As soon as Dwarka reached Dwarka, he threw himself at the feet of Vasudeva and Ugrasena and drenched their feet with his tears, lamenting Lord Krishna's going back to the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, and the destruction of the Yadu dynasty. The people became deeply distraught in their hearts and stunned with sorrow. Feeling the overwhelming pain of separation from Krishna, they left for Prabhasa. When Devaki, Rohini, and Vasudeva could not find their sons, Krishna and Balaram, they lost consciousness out of anguish. Tormented by separation from the Lord, his parents disappeared and entered the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. The wives of the Yadavas disappeared and went to Vaikuntha to be with their Yadava husbands. Lord Krishna's and Balarama's wives also disappeared and saw Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram in Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. Arjuna felt great distress over separation from Lord Krishna, his dearmost friend. But he consoled himself by remembering the transcendental words the Lord had sung to him, the Bhagavad Gita. As soon as Dwarka was abandoned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ocean flooded it on all sides, sparing only his palace. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is eternally present in Dwarka. It is the most auspicious of all auspicious places, and merely remembering it destroys all contamination. In the spiritual world, There is a Dwarka planet where Lord Krishna resides with all of his devotees permanently. There are several spiritual planets like the Dwarka planet, Rama planet, and so on. The topmost spiritual planet is Goloka Vrindavan. Wherever a devotee likes to be in the spiritual planet, that is where he or she can go and enjoy with God and family after leaving this material world. While being in the material world in the meantime, if a person is devoted to Lord Krishna like Siddhama Brahman, as shown in Krishna episode 10, a person can be rewarded to live happily on earth, like being in the spiritual world, just as Siddhama did. A devotee is rewarded a lot even on earth. All of you watching, reading, or hearing with faith will be blessed. Arjuna took the survivors of the Yadu dynasty, the women, children, and older men, to Indraprastha, where he installed Vajra as ruler of the Yadus. Please stay tuned to know what happened next. Also, the episodes will be called Srimad Bhagavatam episodes. Sometimes, there will be explanation videos of Lord Krishna because of confusing information in other YouTube channels. Feel free to ask questions in the comments or anything else. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more beautiful spiritual stories. Thank you. In the meantime, feel free to read more details from the Srimad Bhagavatam translated from Sanskrit by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna and Radharani bless you. Hare Krishna.